Welcome to episode 1 of Do a Skid. This is the podcast on mountain biking, fitness, probably a dash of our history in the modified car scene, conspiracies and everything in between. So we're going to start off today by doing a bit of an intro to everybody who's here. And then we're going to do a bit of news, we're going to do Coop's challenge reveal, and then we're going to go on to some stories basically of how we all met. So today's episode is going to be more of like a prologue. You know, like that bit of a book that's like nothing to do with the book that you read.
A bit of a what?
Prologue.
Book.
Yeah.
One of them things with the papery things.
Yeah, remember them?
Words in them. Yeah,
Yeah, so more of like an intro to who we are, how we met, and our origin story, I suppose.
I had beans on toast for dinner, so for 4, I'm sorry.
Oh God.
Cheers, Coop.
Yeah,
I look
thanks for
forward
that.
to that.
That's all the intro we need. So.
Meeting adjourned.
Yes, so let's kick off with a bit of news, as this is primarily a fitness and mountain biking / channel. So at the moment we have been given the new Bird Ethic e-bike from Bird to test. So we're taking that to Lady Barrow Reservoir. We're going to be doing some off-piste tests with it, checking that out. A bunch of us have got e-bikes now as well, so I've got an e-bike as well as a hardtail now, so I can go out exploring and adventuring. Coop's had a go on my e-bike, tempted?
Oh, I absolutely loved it, yeah.
Yeah, so...
I took it a little test around the park, and he followed on his hardtail, and I got back to his house, feeling fresh as a daisy, and I expected him to be behind me, and I was like, where the bloody hell's David? And he comes panting along the fit one. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so... it's one of those, we took the piss out of e-bikes for a long time, do you know what I mean, like a bunch of us. And,
I still am.
Yeah, you still do, but now it's like, now I've tested it, it's just great for off-piste hunting, doing like the Peak District where we're going to go and that sort of stuff. So we've got the Ethic to play with, we've got 2 Megas, and we've got the white e-bike we're going to be running to test. Other than that, we've got Ardrock tickets should be launched in December, so we'll be doing Ardrock again next year, which is awesome. And then we've got some upcoming guests. We've got too many guests planned already for the next episodes. We've got Wagner from X Factor, if you remember him. We've got Danny John Jules, aka Cat from Red Dwarf and other TV shows. We've got Adam Coxon from Skills Loop, mountain bike trainer. We've got Two Wheels. We've got bike manufacturing companies that do different things. So
The Mud Flat Man.
The Mud Flat Man, yeah. We randomly bumped into.
Who's the Mud Flat Man? Tell me more.
So we were over Count Chase doing some off-piste in the middle of nowhere, and we randomly bumped into this guy, and he goes, "Oh, nice to see you got my mud guards on," and he owns RRP Pro Guard. Just randomly started chatting to him, so yeah, he said he'd be up for coming on. So yeah, that's the short news for now, and we're going to kick off, I think, with a challenge reveal, because we used to do challenges for Cooper.
Yes.
Fitness challenges, because I mean, a bit of our history, we've lost like 10 stone between us, haven't we? I was like once 18 stone, he was, I don't know,
over 20.
Yeah, so we did some challenges for Cooper. He lost a lot of weight, but then he's got a girlfriend, so now he's starting to eat pies again. And put it back on. So we need a new challenge. So today is the reveal, Cooper.
The thing is, I don't. Go on, just tell me.
Okay.
Just tell me what it is.
It's the Spartan race.
Oh, you're joking.
Remember that one I did?
I'm not jumping over fire.
Yeah, that one I did.
You'll do as you're told.
You're going to jump over fire?
Yes.
That's the easy part.
What's wrong with that?
It's the walls and the ropes and the mud. You got to climb to get to the fire. That's the hard part. But
I didn't even like the training you took me to, which was training for the Spartan.
But we did.
Yeah, and the audience love it. They love seeing your agony, your pain.
2 little girls.
It's all about you, isn't it, Coop?
2 little girls had to help me over a wall, and I accidentally stood on one of their faces and crushed their face down the side of a wall. And that was on the training for the Spartan.
Yes, we're going to do one.
Oh, no.
This coming July. What did I say the challenge was going to be? July, June, something like that. I told you a month it would be.
You told me it was July.
Yeah, July. So this coming July, we're doing the 5k Spartan. So we got to get in training for that, which is going to be a lot of calisthenics training, body weight, push-ups, pull-ups, ropes, that kind of stuff, and then it's a 5k run, but there ain't much running. You know, we'll do some running, but it's going to be mainly body work.
Running will be the easy part.
So that is the challenge. Stay tuned for that. We might do like a monthly push-up challenge, see how many push-ups you can do each month as well, and leading up to it. Yes, so that's exciting. Now then, let's move onwards and to the main event. As I say, today, primarily it's going to be a bit about fitness and mountain biking, but today it's not. It's our history. Prologue, and most of us met now who go together on the bikes. Where it all started from, and the reasoning for that is because most kids today, like, I feel like when you say like, oh, they're older, tell me like your coolest story. You know what I mean? They're all sitting around the pub, and they're all exchanging like, you know, one-upping each other the best stories. I feel like it's going to be like, yeah, it was like, did this 360 no scope on the World of Warcraft, and that's when I met Jimmy. Whereas our stories are like, you know, we've been chased down the motorway with a police helicopter a few hundred feet above the car while they're shutting off every exit to try and stop us, to get us and sending us down every junction. I mean, you ended up at a German jail. I've done parachute jumping, my parachute failed. You know, standing on top of the Ace Cafe, London, with Mike Skinner from the streets, taking down entire petrol stations. And most of my stories all start with, well, I was with Sharky. Hence why our guest today is the man, the legend, Sharky, who has the most stories of this nature and how we met I've ever known, that all end in explosions or similar effect. So, do you want to tell us about you, Sharky? History as a scientist.
I don't know where to start. I'm trying to think where we first met. It was obviously through street race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, we met at one of the meets, didn't we, after I joined street race?
Yeah.
And then the first event we went to was Run to the Sun, wasn't it, in Newquay?
Yeah, Newquay. Run to the Sun every year was epic.
Yes. And that's when I met all of you guys, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was when I remember I was in a tent and I just saw fire flying past outside the tent.
Yeah, there was.
And I think that's my first introduction to you, as I unzipped the tent and there was just a trail of fire down the campsite.
Yeah. I think what had happened is it was early hours in the morning. Most people had gone to bed, and there was a few of us still up, and we wanted a fire because it was getting cold. We thought, I know someone who's got a petrol can up by the tent. So we went and grabbed that, lit a little fire, and then the petrol can set on fire. And I can't remember who it was. Someone come over trying to put it out, and they threw the petrol can, and the petrol can, woof, all the tents went up and everything. And then we were just booting this petrol can around the field. Yeah,
so that was my first introduction to you, and it didn't really go downwards from there, did it? Really?
No, it didn't. No, there was lots more fires after that, wasn't there?
I think just for the viewers and listeners as well, like when Sharky said we met through street race, so street race was the first ever UK modified car club, and it's a website I created back in 1999. And I mean, to put that in perspective, Google was launched in 1998.
I was 9.
Yeah, Cooper was 9. You know, Facebook wasn't launched till 2004, and it was a place that all modified car enthusiasts could go online, a forum, chat, and in the end, it became the UK's biggest. I mean,
well, we're the pioneers, aren't we? I mean, how many other car clubs stemmed from that?
Well, every other car club that you can pretty much name today has been. You know, if you follow the route back, it's been somebody who wanted to buy into street race or left there and then create their own car club. And it all stems back to that. And I mean, we say it now, and it's like nothing now. You say, oh, car club is little, but back in the like 90s, early 2000s, it was massive. It was like, you know, Fast and Furious style. It was the scene of its era. Everybody had a modified car that, you know, and it was just the biggest scene going at the time. I mean, it's died down a lot now. I think it's of its time, like mods and rockers.
It's gone completely. I think you don't see them at all now, do you?
Well, that's it. The cars just come out now with decent speakers and subwoofers and that in, don't they? But so back then, we were the first, and then off the back of that, I mean, we had sections in like all over the country, in like California, in China, you know, random places.
I was just trying to think. There was where's that one geezer from? Oh, it's from somewhere completely obscure, wasn't it?
Yeah, like I can't remember, some randomly named
Like
country.
Slovakia or somewhere like that, wasn't it? Yeah.
And we had like factions of people running clubs. It was like Fight Club.
Argentina.
Yeah, that was it.
wasn't
Argentina,
Yes.
street race, that was it. So yeah, we had sections like
global.
Yeah.
All global.
And because of that, it was like Max Power magazine, if anybody remembers them, Fast Car magazine, they would be getting in touch with us because we were the only people doing this.
Well, they come out, they come camping with us, didn't they? Fast car.
Well, Fast Car came to the Nürburgring with us.
Yeah, did, yeah.
And you know, like Max Power, like I remember sitting at a Max Power after party show with Katie Price, who was known as Jordan, then lying across us, and other models. I mean, because she started out as a Max Power model.
Yeah. She was our whore.
Yeah.
She started off as our whore.
Yeah.
We made her.
Yeah. Oh god. So are you dying still?
I might need to go and have a poo.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
You going for a poo? You go for a poo. I'll carry on telling them about the history of street race. Jesus wept.
Tell us all about it, kid.
You can't take it anywhere. Okay. Yeah, so from that, it just sort of grew and grew and grew. And I mean, do you remember Ultimate Streetcar?
That was one of the best shows ever, wasn't it?
I mean, the last Ultimate Streetcar we did, and I mean, that show is still going now. We had a curtain-sided truck, DJ.
It was a 7.5 tonner, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had DJ Cutley's playing on there.
We had breakdancing team.
Yeah.
We had the actual people who running the show tent, dance tent, come over and say, you can't bring this next year because nobody was in the dance tent.
Yeah, well, they told us to turn our music down so they could have the sound off competition.
Yeah.
They couldn't hear it.
We had just crowds, hordes of crowds. I'll see if I can put a video up if you can see. It was just in front of the stand. Yeah, it was just massive. And that's where most of us met through that. So a lot of us into the mountain biking now. One guy, James Lew, RIP. There he is. We lost him on the trails this year. No, not this year. It was during lockdown. It was 2020. Yeah, 2020. Yeah, we lost our pal James Lew. But, you know, I was with him facing backwards on the Nürburgring, rolling backwards as cars are flying past because we were in the viewing.
Oh no, you was in the States. Oh, you went around,
shaking.
yeah, you did a lap with him and you were just sitting there going like this on the curb. Never again, never again.
He went around the viewing bend, he was like, should we do a crowd please? And I'm like, yeah. So he just dropped the box, lit the handbrake.
He's in his Nissan one, he's S15.
Yeah, Sylvia, he called it, Yes. And we went sideways, and then we went a bit too sideways to the point where we went all the way around, and then I had the barrier of the Nürburgring coming past me this way, cars coming past us this way as we're rolling backwards, and he sort of rolls out like that as we pull in. I remember Minnie come around the bend and just missed us. Yeah, it was like the closest I've ever been to death in my life.
Yeah. Was that the year that we smashed our car up? Or we all smashed our car up?
Which one?
We smashed the Peugeot up, didn't we? That 406.
That was when we tried to swap it for mopeds to get home. Do you remember that? Yeah. And then and then there was the time that we went to the Nürburgring in full German military outfits.
That was in the Saab 9000, wasn't it? Yes.
With a fake Mongolian president.
Yes. Oh, look, I've got some pictures of that as well, yeah. We had all got our hippie moustaches on, our SS uniforms and swastikas
And we
all
got
over the car.
stopped at the border. And,
in Dover.
They stole our phones, took everything off us.
Yeah. They made us take all the swastikas off the car.
Trying to convince them that Monkey was the Mongolian president. And we had flags on the car and everything. It looked presidential. They weren't having it.
Still got the pictures of that. Yeah, so we had to take all the swastikas and everything off the car, take our uniforms off, but we got on the ferry and we went down and stuck them all back on again, didn't we?
And then it blew up halfway around the Nürburgring.
It did, yeah, we did half a lap, and then we just rolled.
What was it that went on it?
It just went.
I just remember it just smoking.
Yeah, it just blew up.
And we went with a guy who ran the Nürburgring tours called Mav, good friend of ours, awesome guy, absolute legend. And he knew the Nürburgring, he knew everybody there inside out, and he said, if ever you get stopped at the Nürburgring, if you ever break down or anything, just say one word to the marshals, Bongard. We didn't know what that meant.
No.
We just remembered the word. Okay, Bongard. So we're pulling over, smoke coming out, marshal comes over, because ordinarily we would have been charged thousands, wouldn't we, for that?
Yeah, it was like about $2,000, wasn't it?
Yeah,
straight away.
Break down the Nürburgring, towing off cost a fortune.
But we didn't actually get towed off. We managed to roll off.
Well, that was it, because we said the word.
We rolled about 3 miles round the ring till we found a little pit stop, didn't we? And we came off.
Well, that was it, because he was about to say, Oh, no, have a go. So we went, Bongard. He went, Bongard. He goes, you ball. You ball.
Yeah.
The ball around corner. Right, so we
It wasn't Bongard, it was Bongard and kaput.
Yeah, that was it.
Kaput.
So we rolled halfway around the Nürburgring, luckily at the top of the hill part, rolled off just as the barrier come up and into this magical garage called Bongard.
And I remember saying to you, I said, what are we going to do now? And I remember your brilliant idea, let's go and get some ice cream.
Yeah. We did.
We did. We went and found there was a little shop on by the ring, wasn't there? That was selling ice cream.
And we sat on the steamy car eating ice cream.
Yeah, waiting for it to all blow over. Yeah, if anyone came past us, what you doing? Kaput, Bongard.
That's it. But I mean, going back to James Lou, great memories of him, and it was through the mountain biking it rekindled that. You know, I hadn't spoke to him in years, on and off, you know, on Facebook as you do, but sort of rekindled our relationship. We were going out mountain biking a lot all the time. You know, revealing old memories when we did photo shoots, because he used to be a really good photographer. Yeah. And we had we
did the gangster shoot, didn't we?
Belle's sister Kylie, she was a helicopter teacher at the time, so we had this helicopter floating above one of the cars and doing photo shoots of that, and James Lou was involved in all that, and then we lost him on the trails, cardiac arrest, unfortunately, but absolute legend of a guy, Jimbo MTB he was called. So but him and a lot of the guys who do mountain biking and everything with now, we met through street race and were involved in a lot of these stories. So like I say, this is our sort of origin story today, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
How long is he out taking?
I don't know.
I wonder if we should go and check on him. He's probably got a sweaty nose.
To be fair, I heard him farting when he was walking along there, like so.
Well, I looked at him. He was
going to cloth. I think he was turtle-headed when he sat down, to be honest. So.
Oh my God, he's not going to make it a regular thing. Episode number 1. Wherever I am with Cooper, whenever I've been out running with him, I've literally been out running with him round Chasewater, and he's gone, oh, I need a shit. And I've had to stop the run while he went into the woods, had a shit, nothing to wipe with, and he come back and I said, what did you wipe with? Because I just threw my pants. and I got him, because you can scare Cooper easily by like what ifs. And I remember saying, what if it landed on like a body that somebody hid in that swamp? Or like, you know, like a little girl's body, and they find your shitty pants all over this dead girl. And then
what went on here?
Yeah, then he's going to start panicking. He can panic quite easy with what ifs. It's a good game. Well, what else did we do back in the day then, Beard?
I'm trying to think. You know, my memories. It's not like it used to be. It was like a lifetime ago, was it? Now,
well, you ended up in the German cell. Let's talk about that.
Well, that wasn't actually me that ended up in the German cell. It was Andy.
Oh, was it? I thought you was
No, it was Andy. We was in the... What about Supra?
Didn't we take Andy around the Nürburgring in the back of a truck? In the back of a ute or something like that?
We did throw him in the back of... Yeah, we
did a full lap with him in the back of Goodall's...
Yeah, because he got out and he was throwing up, wasn't he? Yeah. But now that was the time where we were in the Supra. Me and Andy were in the Supra. I'd done a couple of laps. Yeah. And Andy was like, he's not a racer, is he? He doesn't like driving fast, but he wanted to get a Nürburgring sticker for his car. Yeah, and he always slated people that have never been there and they got a sticker. So he wanted to do a lap, and he says to me, he says, "Look, I'm gonna have a drive." He said, "I'm just gonna take it steady." He said, "Don't take the piss." He said, "I'm gonna drive like Miss Daisy. I just want to say that I've done it. I've done a lap." He didn't even do a lap. We got halfway around there, and we were driving along, and he saw someone in the mirror. There was I think it was a Golf. It was like a twin-engine Golf behind us, proper like Nürburgring weapon. Yeah. And it came up behind in the mirror, and instead of pulling over, you've got to pull over to the left. That's it. You have to pull over to the left over there. Then you're on the ring. Yeah. So the car can come past you.
Oh, no, it's the opposite, isn't it? I'm sure it's the opposite because.
Whatever.
Sure, you normally would pull to the left, let people pass.
Yes,
on the ring, you pull to the right.
To pull to the right, and he panicked. He was like, "Whoa, this way," and then eventually, smack! It hit us. It threw us. We got our fake moustache, and I remember that came off and stuck on the dashboard. And we went down there. Smashed it. We were about half a mile away from the car that got into the back of us. Yeah, and it was a couple of Germans in that car. They closed the ring, they shut the ring off, like, you know, the emergency vehicles came round. And we thought, well, we better go and walk down and see if the others are alright in the car behind. Yeah. So we walked down there, Now, I mean, my German isn't great. I mean, you know, other than kaput.
Yeah, and Bongard.
I don't know much, but I could still tell that they were angry. I don't know what they were saying, but I could tell.
Yeah, but all Germans sound angry. They could have been going.
Fair, yeah.
Oh, how you doing? Are you alright?
Exactly. Well, I mean, you know, Germans, they haven't even got a word for fluffy. You know what I mean? But I could tell they were angry.
They were angrier than angry Germans.
They were the angriest Germans I've ever seen. So I was like, come on, we better walk back to our car. And so we walked back to our car. I mean, their car was written off. I mean, ours was damaged, but it wasn't theirs. The big IAP truck had to come down and crunch and put it on the back of the recovery truck.
They didn't know the word, did they? They didn't know
They didn't know Bongard, yeah. So that got craned off. Andy hadn't got his... You have to carry your licence on you by law over there.
Yeah.
He hadn't got his licence with him. So he ended up in the police car. And I remember because all you lot, so they shut the track, and you lot had all gone to the bar, hadn't you?
Yeah.
So you all having a drink at the bar. And he was waiting, like, waiting for a car to come past. Who shut the track off then? Who shut the track? And then I remember you saying that you just saw me in the recovery truck with a super on the back go past. Oh, shit, they're Sharky. And then a police car behind with the sirens on.
Yeah.
And there's Andy. Yeah. So then we had to. The first thing we had to do was get out to the police station and get Andy out the cell.
That was it. That's why I thought you was in there, because I remember seeing.
No, I was in the recovery truck. Yeah.
And didn't you blag him, or you?
Well, we went in there with Mav, didn't we? We went in there with Mav. And Mav, he's been going to the Nürburgring for years. That was his job when he used to go to the Nürburgring. He couldn't speak a word of German.
He was like Del Boy.
He'd just shout louder.
In an accent.
Yeah. And that's what he did. We just pointed and shouted. And I was behind Mav, and I just pointed and shouted as well. And threw out a little bit of whatever German words on there. I just shouted until eventually we got Andy out the cell. And then we had to go to the recovery place to get our super back.
Yeah.
And again, we did the same thing, shouted and pointed, till we got that back.
It's a handy tip to learn if you're in Germany.
Shout and point.
Yeah,
shout and points. That's the way to do it. And if that doesn't work, just smash the place up. Just in the safety of the confidence that you tried your best.
I remember the Supra. We had to just try and straighten it up.
Well, yeah.
And we strapped some sort of
tried Griffo's Peugeot, we? Yeah. So we got Griffo's Peugeot. And we just, tied it up and
drove as fast as we could in the opposite
yanked
direction.
all the front end back out on the Supra.
Like pulling a tooth.
Then we had to go in the hotel and smash the toilets up to make some new boost pipes.
Oh,
boost pipes and the interior was smashed on it.
Pipes apart in the toilet.
The toilets were all flooded, but the Supra was up and running again, wasn't it?
Was that the same year Griffo crashed?
I think it was, yeah.
I remember coming around the corner and just seeing little Griffo, there's skid marks on the grass, like complete sidewall down, and just little Griffo standing in this corner waving as I drove past.
Yeah, it was, Griffo crashed as well. In fact, I think it was about three of us crashed, I think.
Yeah.
But there was about 15 cars, wasn't there, with our convoy.
Well, I had the Evo 6 Tommy Mackinnon.
Yeah.
And I remember we went with Fast Car magazine, we created a new trend for them. They would measure then how sideways you could get by how horizontal your magic tree was. Because I remember taking Glenda out and saying, we'll go a test run first. And gunning round, and then he was like, that was a test run, and he got it on camera. He said, your magic tree was vertical. And from then on, they test how sideways you get by how vertical.
To be fair, that is quite scientific. It's quite scientific.
Yeah. How was your poo?
Yeah, the demon has left my body now. Sorry about that.
Completely gone, has it?
Yeah.
You got a sweaty nose.
Repercussions or anything like that now.
We're good.
You are going to cut that out, aren't you?
No. This is raw.
This is raw and uncut.
So, remember we left Jonesy in Germany, speaking of Germany?
Yeah, that was the first time I'd met Jonesy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Jonesy's a character.
Yeah, that was when we accidentally ran over his airbed, wasn't it?
Yeah, and accidentally superglued him in the tent.
Yeah. A lot of accidents happened that weekend, didn't it?
And accidentally put his inflatable bed on the river to see if it would float.
Yeah.
Even though he was shouting at us, it specifically says, do not put on the river.
Yeah, he said it's on the instructions. It said, do not put in the river.
Well, you've got to test that theory, haven't you?
And he said, because the whole weekend he was going, I've got to be back on that ferry on time. I've got to be back on that ferry on time. I've got a very important job. Very important job.
He was very Rain Man about it, wasn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah, definitely got it on the ferry.
Yeah.
Definitely got it on the ferry.
That's it. And they were like,
Six clap. On the ferry.
It was. Is that like that? And then we were like, oh, what's your important job? He's like, I work at George at Asda. Right, okay.
Oh, no, we didn't realise how high up he was,
No,
did
we had no idea it was that
No.
imperative.
Yeah.
So we kind of slowed down enough so we could just miss the barrier getting on the ferry. And I remember being on the phone to him, waving him off.
Yeah.
Going, you're getting smaller. And he's going, I miss the ferry, I miss the ferry.
Oh no.
But we did leave Bedworth to look after him.
Hadn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I was there as well,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
was stuck behind him.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, so we were stuck. We had to wait about 5 hours for the next ferry. And all that was there at these docks where we stopped, there was some services. I was like, I'm starving. We were there. It was a little shed. It was a little shed with no food. And I think they just got some cans of pop, and that was it. So 5 hours.
And I remember he couldn't peel an egg to save his life. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a very interesting story, but it's ingrained on my memory trying to watch that kid peel an egg for 3 hours.
Yeah, that was in the hotel.
We were just peeling them on purpose in front of him, then in seconds. We didn't even want the eggs.
I don't even like eggs, but I was peeling them just
What
to
was he doing wrong?
Well,
No,
when he was there, and I remember because he was in the hotel, like, it was on the morning, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
breakfast time, and then Chink came up to me. He went, "Good Jonesy over there. What's he doing with that egg?" And it was like he was trying to de-arm a bomb or something like that. He was like, these little bits of shell, and he was like, "So what are you doing?" Peeling my egg. I was like, "Look, what's this?" I grabbed an egg. I don't even want it.
Every time I peel an egg now I think of him, which is
Yeah.
like quite disturbing actually.
There's something you guys told me in Germany about some chilies.
Oh, the chili head.
We did have a chili.
Stu Goodall, who also comes mountain biking with us, got a wicked e-bike. In fact, I took the piss out of him for a bit for having an e-bike before I got one, so sorry, Stu. But yeah, he bought some of the world's hottest chilies, and we had a chili eating competition.
It was you and Monkey, wasn't it?
Me and Monkey were in the fight, the final,
Yeah.
and I remember.
What I remember about it is she was eating your chilies like that. And Monkey's pretty hardcore, isn't he? He's made out of asbestos, and he was eating these chilies, no problem. You were just streaming like this, and you were even sick.
Yeah.
You were sick, and Monkey was leaning it. And he was even. I said, Monkey, that's a chili that just regurgitated out of taste.
Yeah.
Still eating it.
He picked up some of my mouth chili and and we had this big long table, and in Germany you can buy things that you can't buy over here, and we got hold of this pretty powerful taser.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on this table and just seeing all of a sudden people going oh, 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 jumping up along the table. And then Sharky pops up from under the table and then holding this taser. And he's been long and just zapped everybody in the nuts.
Yeah. That was great. Everyone had bruised nuts, didn't they? Yeah.
Good times. And then, we did so many car shows as well. There's Chunk's pants at Ultimate Street Car.
Yeah, they were rancid, weren't they?
Yeah, we found some pants with chocolate in them.
Yeah.
On a giant stick chase.
I'm not convinced it was chocolate, to be
Yeah.
honest. Thinking about it.
We had Tim
I was
West.
naive at the time.
We went to some show in America, not America, in London. And we had Tim Westwood there
Yeah.
at this one show.
We did hang with Tim Westwood for a bit, didn't we?
Yeah. And I remember and we messaged him on the radio when we were holding it down with our pants on our head on the way to Nuka. We went to Run to the Sun one year, and Sharky picked me up, and this drop top cabriolet Peugeot 205 was it?
I can't think what it was. It was a Peugeot. It was a Peugeot convertible thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it weren't warm, but it weren't cold. But when you're driving down the motor, it's cold. I said, "Can you put the roof up?" He's
Well, the thing is that the stereo didn't work in there, did it?
Well, that's
so
it.
we got a Raster blaster.
So first of all, I'm sitting in the back with a blaster on in like an old school 80s ghetto blaster on my shoulder. And he goes, "Oh no, the roof don't go up." So we drove 4 hours to Newquay with the roof down with me. The only music we got was a ghetto blaster. We were getting cold. And the only thing that we could find to hand in our bag were our pants.
But it wasn't even that. It was just, I remember you just said, "Do you know what? I think it's a good idea to put my pants on my head."
Yeah.
So I opened his bag, and then, so he did. I thought, it looks like a
more.
great idea. So I did the same. So then we thought we'd better message Westwood and just tell him we are holding it down.
With our pants on our heads.
On our head.
And he decided to announce that, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But ain't he been like gone the way of the Savile lately or something like that?
Yeah, there's a documentary on about it. I didn't know till about a couple of months ago.
I remember it was a bit like touchy-feely with some of the models we had back in the day. No. Well, neither did Savile, which is very disappointing. Actually, I'm.
Do you know what? I when I was a kid, I tried to get Savile to do something with me. I tried to get Jimmy to fix it for me.
I wrote
to him and
asked for a ride in the Night Rider car. Not so much as a reply. I was gutted for years until I found out.
That's a relief.
But then I started to think, maybe I wasn't fit enough.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with me? Why didn't they want me? Although I was in Rolf's Cartoon Club, which kind of made up for it.
What? Yeah.
We talk about these kind of things on this.
Of course
Where
you
are we
do.
putting this?
Miscellaneous.
It's the truth, isn't it?
It is the truth, yeah.
Yeah, but it's
And now Westwood's
It's
gone
like
away.
one of my dad's mates, he's an accountant, he bought, as an investment, he bought a load of Rolf Harris's art.
before.
Just before, like weeks before it all came out.
So did it go up or down?
It's worth nothing. It's, no one wants paedophilic drawings. It's just,
Did your dad?
My dad's mates. Yeah, he bought a load of it as an investment. He's, yeah, it's not worth anything now.
So speaking of your dad, I think that's where you get a lot of it from. Like Neil's Autos back in the day, we'd go there and it was like Steptoe's yard.
Yeah.
I mean, they went there once and I was like, "What's this?" And he's like, "It's just a cannon we're building."
The melon cannon, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it was the football cannon at the time.
Oh, it was, yes.
And I said, why? Because it weren't far from the Molineux. And I said, why are you building a cannon? Because we've worked out the trajectory and we're going to fire a football into the Molineux when there's a game on.
We're going to fire several balls into the Molineux, yeah.
And I remember being there for a
get
test.
confused.
And you said something, last time he blew the football up, so he'd put a load of straw and water in there. And I remember being there,
The blow.
and it just went, and you go, oh, well, there goes another ball.
Yeah.
And the next thing we heard, looked up and this ball's coming down there. He's got all the cars that he's looking at parked in the yard. And look, I think Mr. Mull ate the coffee, and I think, or the ice cream van you got.
Yeah. It's something bizarre.
I remember you and me turned up to Josh's 30th.
That was a big part.
And there's already a fire engine
there
there.
was already a fire engine.
It was. Yeah, because I remember someone who I'd invited to the party, and they phoned me up and says, "Well, I'm in like Whitmarine. Whereabouts is it?" I said, "Can you see a fire engine?" No, it wasn't. No, it was someone else. "Can you see a fire engine?" I was like, "Yeah." You follow them. that's where it is. That's where it is. About 300 people at that party.
Yeah. That was incredible.
Crow scarers.
It's when we had the pig roast, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We set the three-wheeler on fire.
And you made the mini cannons, and you fired oranges at that guy.
Oh, fired them at the fire brigade. Because they were trying to put the three-wheeler out that we set on fire. Yeah.
We wanted that.
He said, "Don't put it out too much, so we can't light it again." Yeah. So apparently the police turned up as well. The police came up the next day, and then they said, "No more parties." Because the police were all there apparently on the night time, but they were too scared to come up in case it caused trouble. Yeah. So the police says, "No more parties." That's all we say. No more parties.
Remember your dad used to ride around Wolvo in the Titanic. I mean, he's been in the newspaper more than a few times. He got that tricycle that was a boat. So he'd ride around in the boat wearing a turban. Because if you wear a turban on a motorbike, you didn't have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
But the thing is, because your dad's working in the garage, he always looked pretty dark coloured anyway. So it looked like a guy who'd gone blackface on purpose, wearing a turban, riding around in a boat around Wolverhampton. So if you've ever seen that, that's Sharky's dad.
It's not. It's nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me whatsoever.
I mean, back in the day, it was like the Fast and Furious, but like a shit version of it. Imagine Fast and Furious with like Corsas and Saxos. But
Fast and Furious if it was real life.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like a shit dom. But yeah, so fast, like the Ace Cafe in London was the place that, it's been like, since Hot Rod days, it's been the place car meets. We took over that and we were on the roof of it with our DJ Cutler, who's up on the roof running this massive meet. And I remember this gold what was it now? Mike Skinner turned up in.
It was a Rolls Royce.
That was a gold Rolls Royce.
It was an old Rolls Royce, I think. Yeah.
Mike Skinner from the streets turned up in it. So we were just chilling on the roof of the Ace Cafe with Mike Skinner and his brother, with this just huge show going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the place where I still get people come up to me now and go, "Oh, how you doing? I haven't seen you in ages. I remember the Evo. What have you been up to? How's the kids and all that?" And I'll walk away, and she's like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Not got a clue."
Yeah.
Not a Scooby.
Yeah, I used to play that all the time. You used to be like the same at like the street race meetings and that.
Yeah.
That we used to, was it every Sunday?
Yeah.
It was every Sunday, wasn't it?
I mean, we got.
I'd get there, we're going out and start talking to me. I'm like, they know me, but I don't know them.
Yeah.
I talk to you every weekend.
Yeah.
Still don't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, the meet's got to a point where Sainsbury's in Cannock. If you've ever been in Sainsbury's car park in Cannock, for those who know that, it's a pretty damn big car park, and it was full wall to wall. And again, the police came and blocked it in. And we ran a cruise down the motorway. We were supposed to go to Burton, and I was in the Evo at the front. There's a few of the cars at the front, and we just literally filled the M6. So we'd almost got it to a standstill.
But it was to a standstill at one point, I remember, because you could all just hear the sound systems going, you could just hear the bass, and everyone was just stopped. Who was getting out of the cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that packed of just modified cars, I think.
So I remember going down there, and the police must have got wind of this cruise. So the next thing, there's a police helicopter literally a few hundred feet above the car. As I'm at the front of a huge convoy down the M6, we get to every junction to get off, and they've shut off every single junction. So we ended up in Bristol, I think, in the end. And people were pissed off. People were running out of fuel and everything because, like, literally. And when they got off, they tried to create this like sort of cone trap to get us, and people were just scattering, driving over the curbs, and just got away.
They couldn't get the best of us.
No.
Nah, we was always one step ahead.
That's the good thing about Sharky. Wherever you go, he brings beers. Thanks.
That's the kind of guy I am.
So,
You want a monkey?
well, Coop, tell us about how you first got into street race and into knowing me and so forth.
Yes, let's speak about the ute.
So, I passed my driving test when I was 18, 2008.
Oh, tell us about your driving lesson. That is a good story.
My fourth ever driving lesson. I had my driving instructor was an old man. He looked like Captain Birdseye, and he had a little packet of what looked like polos, but they were prescription polos. They weren't like polos.
This sounds like the start of a molestation story. One
of my special polos, they're prescription polos.
He had prescription polos. And every so
First time we tried to hit no.
Every so often he'd have a polo, and he'd be all right for a bit, and then he'd start to slow down a bit, turn left, and he'd have a polo, and he'd be all right again. Well, he forgot to have his polos once, and he fell asleep. This is on my fourth driving lesson. I've only been driving for like 4 hours altogether, and I'm like, oh great. I'm just going to start driving around a bit and get the most and just get,
When in Rome.
Let's put it on his roof, wake him up.
So I went down the Abnalls in Burnwood, and I was driving past the Nag's Head, which is a really narrow road, and around this really horrible bend, which is fine for a normal driver, but an inexperienced driver it was horrible. And a hearse just comes round the corner, and I've gone crunch into the side of this hearse. And I've just scraped down the side of this hearse, and I just saw the big flowers, Dad.
Oh dear.
And then all the family in the car behind, just like, oh no. He's woke up. Drive. He's put his foot on his dual controls. He's put his foot on his dual controls and grabbed the wheel, and he sped us off. They were driven around the block, and by the time we got back to there, they'd all gone, and we just picked up the wind mirror, and he said, oh, I'll glue that back on.
And you passed?
And I passed out. I had 60 lessons I had.
60 lessons?
60 lessons. I was really worried that I wasn't going to pass.
36 packets of polos.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
So, yeah, then how did that lead to you meeting us? You just passed your test.
I've passed my test.
I want to know about these polos.
I don't know.
How did the polos keep my weight? What was in them?
I don't know. He did used to offer me. I never took one.
I don't blame you.
It was like a packet. They were round with a hole in the middle.
I know how polo works.
But it was. But it wasn't in a polo packet. It was in a prescription. You know, the doctor's
prescription polos.
Yeah.
The plot thickens.
Tommy.
Did he ever finger you?
No, he was my uncle's friend's dad. Anyway, so I went to school with Matthew Bedworth. Some of you might know him.
Yeah, all three of you. Right, yeah. Oh yeah, I'm Matthew. Yeah, carry on.
We used to call him Afro Man because his hair was out here like this. He had a big old afro. Well, he used to bully me at school, and I remember this one time.
Bedworth used to bully you.
Bedworth was my bully at school. He'll tell you, because he was being bullied by Adele Nancy. He was being bullied by a girl, so he bullied me. Anyway.
The circle of life.
What's left of the girl?
So he was my bully at school.
Yeah.
And one day I just saw red, and in my head I'm beating the shit out of him, but in reality somebody had to stop me doing this on his arm.
Like when you have a dream. Have you ever had a dream when you're lamping someone to do nothing? Or is that just me?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I've had dreams where I'm punching people and it's doing nothing.
That was the reality.
Okay.
In my head.
It's horrible in a dream.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't even asleep, you were awake. didn't you see this through your eyes?
I saw red. I went a bit crazy because he kept emptying my pencil case out on the playground.
Oh, never.
I would never have stood for that, Coop.
So I'm punching him on the arm like this, and Stacey Oldacre goes, "You're going off the rails."
He's going off the rails.
This is, you remember at the beginning I said the kind of stories that kids tell today. This seems like one of them stories. You're going off the rails, you empty my pencil case. Right,
So anyway, they stopped me hitting his arm, and then my mum and dad came into school and they spoke to the German teacher for some reason, because I don't know why. It was the only class.
Shouted and pointed.
I'm gone!
Yeah.
Your son, kaput!
He's fluffy. Anyway, I'm making a long story too long here.
Yeah.
So me and Bedworth then became best friends because we sorted it out and realised he had no friends.
Realised that you were both lesser than girls.
So we became friends, and I mean, that was like year 8 or 9, so we were 12, 13. By the time we came to leave school, he had his yellow punter. I don't know if you remember the yellow punter.
I do remember it.
Yeah, I remember that going sideways around the Nürburgring. Yeah, carry on.
I just passed my test. I went to the Turf pub with him on a Sunday.
I remember the Turf.
Everyone was met.
That was our local meet.
And I'd never been. I was a keno. I did my homework. I wasn't tapped or anything. I was just normal.
What? When did this happen? What?
I was just a quiet little mouse.
So technically, Cooper is the first person that I unlocked from the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's our mission in life. We break people out of the Matrix.
Right.
That's a story for another time.
Yeah.
So I've gone to the Turf, and the's just a long table. There's people like Guppy. You could have I don't remember now, but you could have been there possibly. Zoe, David.
There was a picture of us in the Turf. I don't know if it's still there for years. Black and white photo of all of us.
No, it wasn't the
That
Turf.
was the wheat sheaf.
That was
Oh no, it's the wheat sheaf. Sorry, yeah.
I bet it's still there.
Yeah.
But
It's not.
in it.
It's not. I have been in there
Ah.
some time ago. It's not there now.
So I'm sat at the end of the table. I don't know anyone except for Bedworth. And from the other end of the table, I just hear, "Cooper!" And I look up and I'm thinking, I don't know anyone here. How don't I know my name? Look away again. Cooper! I'm looking. It turned out it was Guppy. Bedworth must have told Guppy my name's Cooper and he was winding me up. Anyway, it came to the end
So what did they go and punch him in the arm?
Saw red.
So red. Yeah. Unhand me, you brute.
It came to the end of the night and Bedworth had already gone at this point and I hadn't even realised. This was before sat-navs really, and I still had a flip phone. I didn't know how to get home. Like, because before you pass your test, you know the routes you get your parents drive. But I didn't know the A5, how to get home from the A5 when I first passed my test. So I said...
Don't you remember getting there?
I followed Bedworth.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I said, is anyone going to Burnwood? And he goes, I'm going to Burnwood. Follow me. Oh, yes, thanks. So I've gone and got in my red 106. He's jumped in the bloody Evo. Off the car park and gone. I'm trying to follow him. I'm going through Norton Keynes going, I don't know these roads, there's no Evo around here.
Is anyone seen an Evo? Oh, my house.
So in the end I ended up going to Five Ways Island and I knew where I was then, but yeah, that's the first time we ever met.
Yeah.
That was the 29th of April 2008. 2009.
Fucking hell, he knows all the details today. I'm not police.
And then, so we slowly, we were acquaintances, me and David, for probably a month or two.
Mm.
And he says to me, have you ever seen Where the Hell is Matt on YouTube? Oh, no. So he shows me this YouTube video of a bloke going around the world doing a dance. And he's doing the same dance, so the country and the landmarks are changing behind him, and he's doing this dance. He says, I want to do that with you round here. I was like, okay, yeah. So, we started filming me doing a funny dance in, like, I don't know, Cannock, Lichfield, Burnwood, Birmingham, Wolverhampton, all in, like, in different places.
So you were like David's dancing monkey. On tour.
And we just became really great friends from there. And
But it was when you burnt a hole in the back of my
bucket seat in the golf.
Yeah, that's what I really knew I liked you.
Yeah, you can tell that story.
Yeah, so I'd picked him up. I can't remember why I dropped him off again.
We were filming that.
Oh, was it? And then I had a message come through on Facebook.
Didn't even have your number.
What did it say?
Hi, David.
I'm really sorry.
I'm so sorry, but as I got out of your car, I accidentally burnt a hole in the back of your seat. I will pay for any damages, and in my head you were Vin Diesel. I didn't know yet.
So what was this? You didn't say anything at the time?
You embarrassed me!
You didn't say anything at the time?
I didn't say anything at the time.
So this was a letter you put together?
So,
you got your lawyer to have
along with in Cooper's head where he's punching really hard, in the background there's me as Vin Diesel, okay.
I was worried that I would, because I knew you lot, and I knew the things you got up to. I didn't know what you'd do to someone that burnt a hole in the bucket seat.
Well, thought we'd kill him. We'd kill him straight
ordinarily.
So I wrote a message and said, I will pay for new seats. I'm so sorry, please forgive me.
Yeah.
But you know what he messaged back? Cooper, you and me will be friends for life. None of my other friends would message me and say they'd done that. They'd have just let it happen and get away with it. But you owned up to it.
And ever since then, he's been burning holes in the back seat of everyone's car.
Yeah, see if it works again.
It makes me so popular.
Yeah, that was it. I knew I could trust him. And it was a good egg. And Cooper is the best egg I know.
Well, I remember you messaging me or ringing me and telling me, you said I've got a new pet. It's great.
You used to call me his accessory.
You was an accessory.
Remember when I bought Muff out? The accessory's accessory.
Yeah, that got confusing, didn't it? So I remember I'd phoned you.
You always had Monkey with you. Monkey was your man.
It was. Yeah, that was my pet. Yeah, but it was like I'd speak to you. I'd say, "Come on, Chink, you come round mine. We'll come down the pub." You'd always been Coop with you.
Yeah.
So it was like an accessory. I didn't see you. Don't get me wrong. I've changed, but I didn't see you as a person.
Not so much of a human.
Yeah, just an accessory, like a new bag, like Chink's got a new hat. He was like that. There's Chink, and there's something behind him with a beard.
You should probably say something about my nickname as well back then.
Obviously,
because it does sound casually racist.
Good, but it's not.
But back in the 90s, I was called that. But then, like, all our Chinese friends, they'd be called it me, and everybody just called it me. It wasn't meant to be racist. It was just some random nickname I'd picked up since a kid.
Mm. Well, yeah, I mean, I still call you Chink now.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I've been called it by people in a Chinese restaurant who were working in there.
The police used to call it, yeah.
God, I remember when the police turned up at my mum and dad's house once, and they were like, "Oh, we know you're running this car club. We need you to come in and talk about it." My mum and dad were kicking off, like, back in the day.
As if you were part of the cartel or something.
Yeah, that's it. So I had to go in this police station, and they sat me there right in front of this massive table. Police either side, they've got a screen like that at the end, and then they just started bringing up these pictures, videos that have gone off the website.
Now, this was the time where we were helping the police, when Street Race was working with the police, wasn't they?
Well, that's what led to that.
Because was it? I thought
it was because of that.
Okay.
It led to that.
Yeah.
And they were going, well, that's illegal. And then they showed me a picture of somebody's arse hanging out of a window. He's cleaning up. He's got his seatbelt on.
Yeah. And you were disgusted about it, weren't you? I remember you saying, "Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's terrible."
It was more like, you know, when you're trying not to laugh at school, and they're showing you really funny stuff.
Yeah.
And you, yeah. So, well, I mean, I got to one picture, and it was on the way to the Nürburgring. At the top of my Evo, it was a guy like this, and they go, "Well, he's clearly doing something illegal." And I went, "Well, he's a West Midlands police officer." And he was. He was. Yeah.
I remember him. Yeah.
Brent.
Yeah, that's one of yours, mate.
Yeah, that's one of yours. So anyway,
I was going to have a word with you about that. Yeah.
So they said, well, we can either do you for all this, or you can help us try and turn things around. So we want you to go into doing. Like,
we weren't snitches.
Nah.
No, we weren't snitches.
We want you to stop racing on the streets. We want you to start organising events, track days, and proper official stuff. So we started doing that. I mean, there was still stuff going on behind the scenes, obviously. But we started running track days and things like that, and getting the police. Then doing police safety days. We ran a police safety day where we took a load of the guys and they were showing what could happen in accidents and stuff like that. But then it got to the point. It was so big. Then we couldn't control it, man. It just got beyond control, and they were saying you're not doing it. And then all the signs that you see up around Cannock and Burntwood now, they said they were going to do that if we didn't do it. And all the big blue signs that say this is an anti-car cruising area, that's still there to this day, are because of me. And yeah, so
say welcome to Burma. This is do not cruise in Burma.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, we tried to, and then they did come to my mum and dad's 6 or 8 months later, knock the door again. And my mum and dad, the police are here again. Oh God, no, I ain't done nothing. So, but they said they wanted our help because there's people go around doing carjackings, and they wanted an inside person, which we were willing to help because, again, we weren't snitches, but this person was robbing our mates' cars. There was people going around with guns, armed robbery, stealing the cars. So they wanted our help, inside knowledge, trying to do some digging and that sort of stuff. So we went a bit undercover for a while as well. But yeah, it's just some crazy times. And as I say, so most of the people now that we hang around with and actually go mountain biking with, the likes of Nathan, Bell, as I said, James Lou, Stu Goodall, trying to get Sharky on a bike for years and trying to get him out with us.
I slank up his stabilisers off, yeah. I'm still a little bit wobbly,
Yeah, it's all stemmed from that, really. So what I want to go into now is the time Sharky got made redundant, got a massive payout, and spent a year becoming a mad scientist. Because that was one of my favourite times of your life. You made an EMP device. Tell us about the EMP.
Well, yeah, I did. That was just one of the things I thought. I've always been into chemistry and electronics and that. So yeah, so I built quite a powerful EMP device.
You look like Iron Man. I remember you had this big coat on, battery under here, a wire up your arm, and a circle thing.
Yeah, but originally, what it was designed for, the EMP was for fruit machines and the pubs and that. So I was going to go in there. Like I say, I had the lead down my arm here with a coil in my hand, and I had a remote in my other hand. So I could lean up the fruit machine, hit the remote with this hand, and knock the credits up. But it just kept firing the fruit machines. And I was running out of pubs. But then I found out that it worked at the petrol station. So we could put some fuel in the car, fill up, and then just lean up the thing. It reset to 0. Sweet. Go in there and fill the tank up, put 100 quid in, just reset it, and then put a £5 in and go and pay for the £5. Which did work, but it did also fry the fuel pumps as well.
I remember it got to the point where you turned up too much and you took down that entire petrol station that was shut for weeks.
It was, about a month, I think,
Which then we realised would be fun because we knew somebody to protect the innocent. We're going to not say who it was.
No. It was someone else who got the EMP device.
But essentially, it was somebody else had an EMP device and somebody else worked for a popular convenience store, fixing their IT. So he turned up here with it, and after he'd shot holes in my wall with something else, he said, "Let's go and give Jeremy a job to do. We'll go and shut down the convenience store." So we went there, and he was going to shut down the lottery machine. Leant on the lottery machine, and this whole shop went down.
Yeah.
So then we rang Jeremy and said, "Are you off to this particular shop by any chance?" "Yeah, the whole place has gone down." Yeah, that was Sharky.
Yeah, but it was all of the convenience stores, so the whole system had gone down. Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was the chip and pin devices that we had to that Jeremy had to replace.
Oh, poor old Jeremy.
And then I remember the coffee table you made.
Yes.
That had like some sort of drinks mixer and gun dispensers that would come out of it.
It was just one of, it got out of control. Originally, it was going to be, so you press the button. It was touch screen. The table was. So you touch this, and the ashtray would pop up at the table. Press this, your little cup holder would come out. Things like that. And then you'd be having a few drinks around the table. So, what if someone? Yeah, but how about if someone in the room was like chatting shit? And you need a gun to come out. So I did. So I built things. My little air gun came out. Popped out the table, and I can't think, but eventually there was no table left. Everything was popping out of it. You just
nowhere to put your coffee in the end.
Yeah.
I remember turning up at your house once, and you opened the door in a lab coat.
That was the chemistry days, wasn't it? Yes.
I can't remember.
I remember his kitchen was like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
It was just bottles everywhere.
Went in his kitchen and he says, "Put these goggles on, Coop." Gives me some. I don't know what I'm doing there. He puts
we was baking. It was Chink's birthday. And we was baking him a cake. I said, "I'll tell you what. Before you go back to Burnwood, we'll bake him a cake and you can take that to him."
But I thought it was a cake that you were baking, a birthday cake.
What do I know about making cakes?
We've got these goggles on and he's in a lab coat. And he goes, I'll just put this to bubble. And he's pouring, and he says, we don't need to measure that one, put a bit of that in. And then I end up, and he passes me this cake. He says,
it was like a little cupcake, wasn't it?
A little cupcake. And he snatches it back up, he says, wait, I've got some candles. But he doesn't get candles, he gets a fuse. Puts the fuse in this cake and says, whatever you light it outside. Okay. Took it back to David and we lit it and it went through the floor.
It was thermite.
Yes, it did.
He made me a thermite cake.
It was thermite, nitroglycerin, and what else was in it? There was a bit of something special as well.
Sprinkles.
Some sprinkles on it. And icing.
Potassium nitrate. There was some potassium nitrate in it as well.
I remember.
Just to give it that extra. You know what I mean?
Je ne sais quoi. Yeah. Celebrity Bake Off with Sharky.
Yeah.
So what have you made? Well, just a touch of potassium nitrate on there, just for that edge.
Just a sprinkling of thermite.
Don't light it inside on a table.
Yeah.
I remember when you messaged me and said, "Can I have some stuff delivered to the office?" I'm like, "Why?" And you said, "Well, I'm on the watch list now and they won't deliver anything else to my house." He said, "It's right, it's just cleaning chemicals." Oh, well, alright then. And they turned up with these vats of bloody chemicals to the office and he just come round and picked it up in his lab coat and his goggles. Thanks.
Yeah, he did a good job. I got a job, isn't it? Yeah. Being redundant was, it was getting out of control. Getting out of control.
I remember you was weighing pound coins at some point.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't go into that.
Probably not, no. It's,
There's a few stories that we probably can't tell.
No.
Until the people involved are dead. Yeah. So whoever goes first, like, do we then give permission to tell the stories?
Yeah.
We can't tell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in our.
All right then. That's a deal. Sealed. So this is, as I say, it's not been that much about mountain biking today. It's not been that much about fitness. It has been a prologue.
I haven't even got a mountain bike.
No. And Cooper used to have one, but he's just scared of life. He's scared of stepping out the front door, so he went
You're a warrior, aren't you?
I'm a warrior.
Yeah, and I mean, one time you did go over the handlebars, didn't you, on that event we did? And he didn't get hurt. I mean, so it should show you. But you know, you are going to get. But you're doing other fitness stuff, aren't you? So it's kind of a good balance.
I'm going to come and do that. What was it? The Spartan?
Yeah, the Spartan. That should be good.
It should be good. It should be good.
Yeah.
Not for you, but for
everyone else.
It's going to be great.
Jumping over fire.
So
yes, so we're going to have to get some fire training.
So we're going to be going Sharky, that's going to be involved in that.
Yeah. Just sprinkle a little thermite in that fire.
Put a little thermite in his socks. Get it ready.
That was hang on. Another story in it says my stag do. Talking of socks.
Oh, your stag.
Because I remember hearing boom, 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 boom from the next door, and Taz coming running past with his feet on fire.
Yeah, that was when the foot thing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one knows. No one knows how that fire started. In a very specific place on his feet.
It was, and I remember. I think it was your brother that turned up, and with this random bloke.
Nick the Fish.
No, Nick the Fish is somebody I know. He was called
Mickey
the Fish. His name was
Mickey the Fish,
and he was a hitchhiker, tramp-looking guy. And he turned up. We were already in a club, and he turned up with this tramp who started partying with us. We're like, who's this? I asked Mickey the Fish. He's a hitchhiker. I picked him up on the way. So this guy just joined us for my entire stag do. This tramp-looking bloke. So he just disappeared. And then we tried looking for him afterwards. We just Googled it. And we found Mickey the Fish was a wanted arms dealer. And the picture of it was the guy.
It was it.
Yeah, so we'd had this wanted arms dealer just join us as a tramp on the stag do the whole time.
3D printed guns or something, didn't it?
Yeah, something like that, would it? Yeah. I knew it was interesting, but that was just like, that was just scratching the surface of that weekend. That was.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Newquay. We've always had good parts in Newquay. The Run to the Suns and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
Been great. Your stag do. I can't go there again.
No.
Can't go there again because you'll never beat it. That was the funniest weekend I've ever had.
I remember Wei Lee, who's a good friend of ours, Chinese lad, saw a statue of Godzilla in a window, and he just ran down the hill going, it's Godzilla! But everybody come out of the pubs and ran with him. So down the main Nuke Hill, there's just a crowd of people with him at the front shouting, it's Godzilla!
Danny broke his leg.
Yeah.
You and him got a tractor to Nuki because your car broke.
That's it, yeah. Mark, I was in the Alfa Romeo, I was in the Alpha Spider.
Yeah.
And I had to pick Jesus up. Yeah, because you ran with him, yeah. You said, we're all going to Newquay now. I wasn't going to later on. He says, and you were like, could you pick Jesus up? Yeah. I don't even met him once. I didn't even know him. So I got to his house. He sent me his address. I got to his house. It was dark. It was pissing down with rain as well. And he came out, and I mean, the Alpha was tiny.
And he was dressed as Jesus.
He was dressed as Jesus, yeah. And he came out. I mean, I'd got my rucksack or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm probably packed up like a man, you know what I mean? He came out with his massive suitcase. Where the fuck are we going to put that? So we had to shoehorn this thing into the boot. I mean, the boot was still open. We had to have the roof open. And on the way down there, and then the car blew up. Probably, we were about 100 miles away from Newquay. So we got the AA. They came and picked us up, and they towed the car. They towed us. And they dropped the car off in it was a pub with an empty car park.
Yeah.
So they dumped the car there, and he says, look, so I can give you a lift to the closest town. And this town was tiny, and this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, see you later, lads. So we get out, everything's closed. All I want to do is party. I want to bring for a party, you know what I mean? I want to drink.
We're already in the bar with Mickey the Fish.
Exactly. You're 100 miles away, ready, partying. So what are we going to do now? I'm stuck with Jesus. It was amusing at first, but then walking around with his squeaky wheel on his suitcase.
Dressed as Jesus.
Dressed as Jesus. I'm like, can you shut that suitcase up? Like, shit, well, let's try this road. Now looking down this, and then we saw there was a pub. And the doors were open. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning, so it was closed. The doors were open, and I could see the bar, and I could see beers on the bar. It's like, we're going in there. So we get to the bar, go in there. 2 pints, please. He's like, no, we closed, I'm afraid. It's only people who are stopping here. It was a bed and breakfast. How much is the room? It's like, I don't know, 80 quid each. 5 pints. We'd have a room with 5 pints. So I bought the drinks out, like, yeah. And then I spoke to you, and you guys were like, arranging picking us up.
Yeah, so we
But
come
me
down.
and Jesus, we went up to the room, like, took all our beers up there, we were drinking the beers, got on our phones, looking on like eBay and that, looking for local mopeds for sale and stuff like that, just transport. But it was like I say, by this point, about 2 o'clock in the morning, no one was answering the phones. And if they weren't wanting to sell their mopeds anymore. And it was like, what are you doing on the phone at this time?
So I remember we come out of the club, convincing Harper, who was asleep, to wake up, pick you up. We had to drive about.
It was about 100 miles away.
And Harper was falling asleep. So like literally, we
You had to get some polo mints.
Yeah. I just keep whacking him to waking him up. But yeah, so much happened that weekend. I mean, Taz ended up upside down in a bush on the quad bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we went off on a tangent again. I was saying that it was, this will obviously in the future be about the fitness and the mountain bikes and so forth. But it all stemmed from how we met through Street Race, the Modified Car Club. And just before Max Power shut down their magazine, we were voted, I think it's like the best all-time modified car club or something like that. It was some award or something like this.
We won several awards, didn't we?
Yeah, so much went back on. I mean, I'm sure more stories will come from it back on in the day. And I mean, most of the people that are together now, I mean, my wife, I mean, nowadays you go on an app to find girlfriends. Back then I had to create a website because they didn't exist. So I created the website. And most of the people that we know that are married together and so forth and so on were ex-street race models or that we met through there. Or...
Well, it was that was our life, wasn't it? Street race was our life.
Yeah.
So, we met everyone through there.
And that's what has led to this moment in time. The prologue, the origin story of how most of us know each other. Then we'll be going on how next episode we're going how we got onto the fitness side of things. How, say, me and Cooper, I was 18 stone, Cooper was like 20 odd stone. We put on a lot of weight, we decided to change it around. Find stuff you enjoy, which is imperative, which I found I enjoyed the mountain biking.
Yeah.
Cooper enjoys punching people really softly. And moving on from there.
Drive with the hearses?
Yeah.
Didn't know that about you.
So that's where we all come from. Next episode, we'll be picking back up on the whole fitness mountain biking scene. We're hoping to get Wagner on for an extra special about his fitness and his karate and that side of things as well. And let's call it a wrap, shall we? Any other finishing notes that you want to end on?
I can't think of anything. I know I will. As soon as I get in the car, I'll be like, fucking hell, this, that. There's loads of stories. There's just too many stories. There's a lot of stories.
Well, we'll have to get you back on. We'll think of more stories. And thanks for joining in. This has been the first ever episode of Do a Skid. Until next time.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.
Oh, the 18. Murdoch. And the jewellery man.
The jewellery man. Mr. T.
Do a Skid! This podcast is sponsored by In Life Web Design and Digital Marketing. Smarter solutions to bring your website to life. Also, JCFX Media, shaping your vision through film, animation and aerial footage. Have a nice day.